Welcome, Annie Collins here for Brutus Monroe. Thank you for being here. Today we're going to create this fun Celebrate card. Let's go over the products I am using for this card. Today we're going to be using our mixed media stencil called Ribbon Curls. This is a 6x6 stencil. We're going to be using that in coordination with our glitter glaze called Scarlet. This is a beautiful red, glittery, deep color. We're going to use some dies. This one's from the Spring Sayings. It's a stitch panel die. And from the Christopher Saying, we're going to use the word celebrate along with its shadow. This die set has a variety of words with their shadow. We're going to be using that. I went ahead and off screen, I had already applied my glitter through it and die cut my panel. But I will show you how I did this. So I filmed that part. So this is our little ribbon curls with our glitter glaze, and it's showing beautifully on here. We're going to create a tone-on-tone card. And I love the stitching that this die does on our panel. I also die cut our sentiment, and I did our background or our shadow with vellum, and our front word, which is the celebrate, in a nice gold cardstock. We're going to go for a tone on the background. So I'm showing you here that I have this red on red, but the layering cardstock on the background is slightly darker than the front. When we go to finish our card, I changed that out. I use a deeper red. And for our card base, we're going to use Not Your Mama's Cardstock, which is a nice heavyweight white cardstock. Alright, so here let me go ahead and show you how I just did all the stenciling through our panel. Excuse me, I have a cold, so I have a tickle in my throat and I sound really hoarse, so I'm sorry about that. Alright, so I'm going to use our stick and stamp mat. Our stick and stamp mat is sticky on one side, and it will hold not only your card panel but your stencil in place. So I'm going to go ahead and press my stencil onto my mat, and it's going to hold it for me. I have already placed my red panel, on the mat. The mat has grid lines, so it helps you line everything up easily. I'm going to quickly grab my tools. I have a palette knife, a gift card, and our beautiful glaze here. Now, as you notice, I'm popping out this little plastic lid. That's inside of my actual lid. Please keep that lid. That is there to keep your glazes nice and moist and pliable. Just save it to the side once you remove it, and just replace it once you're done with your glazes. I like to give all of my glazes a quick stir. Yeah, once you're storing them, sitting or whatever, things just tend to settle. I just want to make sure all that glitter is mixed thoroughly throughout. So this is how I like to use my glazes. I apply a nice big blop on the top in a nice, as close to a straight line as possible. Just glob it right there, just like that, with my palette knife. And then I'm going to use an old gift card. If you could use an old gift card, if you have one of those scraper tools, your scraper tool, or even your palette knife. And I just scrape down towards myself nice and evenly, cleaning off any of the excess glaze along the way. I will replace all that back into my jar. This is why these jars of glazes, especially ours is a nice big size, will last for quite some time. Alright, so then I just clean all my tools quickly. I have a damp paper towel right here off to the side. I didn't show that on screen, but you can see right here. I wipe my tools really quickly, and then I'll remove my stencil and give it a quick rinse off screen. And I will also clean my mat with our Squeaky Clean Mat Cleaner. Not only does it take any of the excess glitter that may be on your mat, but it keeps the sticky refreshed. So really quick, here's the plastic little lid. I'm going to replace it, as you can see, back on my jar. I press the center to make sure all the air is pushed out, and then I will replace my actual lid on it. This way I know for sure that my glitter glaze is nice and moist for future use. Again, do this with all of our glazes. Alright, now I'm going to gently remove my stencil, and I peel it back nice and easy. I'll set that to the side to be cleaned. And then I'm going to remove your panel off your stick and stamp mat. All that you do is you curl your mat. Just curl your mat and your panel will stop popping up. You see that? I place my hand behind it to grab it for support. I will clean off my mat really quick, and then I will set my panel to dry. Once it's dry, then I will die cut it. Alright, so now let's jump into building our card, because our panel's dry. I die cut it off screen. I've die cut our sentiment and its shadow. So let's start by building our sentiment. Like I said, I cut the shadow from vellum. This is from our vellum. And then the actual word, I use some beautiful creamy cardstock in gold. It's not creamy, shimmery gold cardstock. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and just use some Barely Art glue. I'm just using little tiny dots, little dabs of it on the back of our sentiment. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere it to our vellum die cut. Just little dots, because I don't want a lot of oozing going on, because then it will show on the vellum. Alright, so then I press it into place. Now this word is cut into several sections. You have the C standing alone, and then it just breaks it up. It just makes it easy. So if you use it without the background, you can actually use it like in a curve. Let's say you have a wreath on your card and you want to use the word celebrate. Just gently go in a semicircle and you can use it. It's one of the lovely ideas that for you to use for words or dies that are broken up like that. But it's so easy to put back together in a straight line with or without the shadow. Alright, so we're down to the last little bit. I'm going to place my tray on it with my glitter glaze on top, just to give it a little weight for it to hold in place while we go ahead and finish our card panel. As you can see, I brought in a slightly darker layering cardstock for the background, because I realized my front panel and my layering panel were a little too close and they weren't giving me the contrast I wanted. So I'm going to adhere these two panels together, and then I'm going to adhere that to my card base. Again, I'm just using a little bit of Barely Art glue here. I'm using a little bit more than usual because my panel is slightly curved, not too much, but I just want to make sure everything lays flat. Again, I'm going to use the Barely Art glue to adhere our sentiment, placing little dots on the back because we have the vellum and we don't want everything the glue to show through. Get my last little dots on here. This card came together extremely quick. I mean, it's just applying the glitter glaze, which does all the beautiful work, through our stencil, so you get this beautiful background, and then die cutting this large word for the center of it. So now I'm going to add some finishing touches with some gold confetti, and do a little cluster of 3 under the C, a little 2 towards the T and the E over here. And that's of course optional. You don't have to do those finishing touches because the glitter glaze adds so much beauty. So here's our card. Look how beautiful that is. I love the tone on tone effect on it, and that was created using our new stencil called Ribbon Curls with our Scarlet glitter glaze. We run in those dies, one for to die cut our panel and the other one for our word, and I'll have everything linked for you in the description box below, so it'll take you straight to the store for easy shopping. Thank you for being here, and I hope you found some inspiration.